Hello guys, and yes, we're picking up from where we left off yesterday, where we ranked the first 59 episodes of Pokémon Journeys. If you haven't seen that, go and watch it. But yeah, so in today's stream, guys, we're gonna finish up what we need to do, which obviously in this obviously we're going to be going over the plot of the episode, what's good about the episode, what I like about the episode, what I don't like about the episode, then I'll start giving it an overall rating out of 10. There's also one section what I haven't watched, because everything else here I have not watched yet, because I haven't had the time to yet. Alright, so yeah, the first episode we're going to be ranking is episode 60. So, the plot of episode 60 is basically Ash and Farfetch have been doing some training over at the lab, and basically after some training they go to the Pokemon Center, and basically Ash gets a World Coronation Series notification, and it turns out it's Winto, the person he's been trying to get back at the entire time. And yeah, Ash and Winto have a rematch, and kind of at the start, Farfetch kind of gets wrecked, but however later in the fight, Farfetch, after seeing how after it lost the motivation in the fight, after its leak got cut by Glade's attacks, however it didn't give up. After it got knocked down, Winto started to taunt it, saying, is that all it's got? And basically, Farfetch was back in, and it landed 3 critical hits in a row, and evolved into Surfetch. And it was epic. It was epic to see Farfetch evolve into Surfetch. So I was really happy about that. And then after that, Surfetch managed to overpower Glade and win the match. And yeah, Ash was able to defeat Winto. And most thoughts, I thought this was an amazing way to finally get Farfetch to evolve into a Surfetch. But ever since this episode, it really hasn't been utilised. Like, its strength hasn't been fully utilised for ages, and I just hope it's able to do it soon. But yeah, and on his thoughts, I thought this was a stanger of an episode. And for me, this episode can go to... You know what? Since this is the wrap up of the Surfetch arc, I'm gonna put it here. I will be putting it on the same rank as the first part of the Surfetch arc. Okay, what we got? Episode 61. Okay, so this is the I know which one this is. Yeah, I'm not sure. So basically, these guys have come to clean the lab, and basically, during the event of the episode, one of the guys get hurt, and he ends up in the hospital. And because of this happening, Ash and Go sort of have to help them out, and they help them out with various jobs in cleaning jobs in this episode, such as they had to go to help clean a Tauros farm and that. But later in the episode, Team Rocket get involved, and Team Rocket kind of gets stuck. Meowth gets stuck in a well, and then a bunch of Tauros also fall in the well, and they have to work together. Team Rocket was trying to do something again. This time, which is not surprising. And basically, they had to use all the Tauros to get Meowth out of the well. But as an episode, this was kind of really underwhelming. So yeah, I don't think it was too good, but I think it was too bad. So I'll just put it here. Okay, the Drizzle evolution. This is an interesting episode. So in this episode, Sobble finally evolved into Drizzle, and basically what happens is that Sobble is learning its water gun and trying to make it like Inteleon snipe shot. And while they have an interview, basically after Sobble itself evolves into Drizzle, but however it becomes very depressed with its new form because it thought it would evolve straight into Inteleon, but it never did, and it never did at the time. It really depressed, and it just sat in the cave. And the episode was basically go trying to motivate it. And during the episode, it actually runs off and leaves the lab, and Ash and Gar have to go and look for it, and they can't find it. Then after that, Go might know a spot where it might be, so basically they went to the spot, it's there, and after Go gave it a motivational speech, they both start crying, and Daisy goes like, you can stay in the cave as long as you need, and yeah, Drizzle just stayed in the cave for the entire time until it evolved. But well, yeah, I thought this was a really sweet episode, and it developed Go, and it also developed, it also developed in Inteleon, developed Sobble. Okay, so what we got? Episode 63. Okay, so episode 63. This episode basically they were watching this race on TV, and basically Chloe's Eevee got inspired by one of the race's Vaporeons, and this side of the arc of basically Eevee needed to meet all its other evolutions. And basically in this episode they go to the race, and basically they meet the person and their Vaporeon, and during the episode there's a race, and Ash finally uses Dracovish after 13 episodes of capture. Dracovish is really funny in this episode. Dracovish cannot swim, but instead it runs underwater. Yeah, it can run underwater, but it can't swim. Basically, the race happens. I believe Go uses Dugong, and Ash uses Dracovish. And during the rest of the episode, surprise. I don't think you can say actually. So basically, this cave kind of caves in on Chloe and someone else, and basically Ash was trying to break it with water gun, and the girl's like, does Dracovish know any other moves? And actually like, I haven't seen any other moves. Then all of a sudden it learns Vicious Rend and breaks the rock. It was so cool to see that. That's just freaking Dracovish knew Vicious Rend. And yeah, the episode ends with, obviously, Chloe got given a water stone, so if she ever wanted to evolve into Vaporeon, she could. And that's actually how the episode ended. And I thought this was a pretty sweet episode. And yeah, overall I thought this was a really, really nice, thriller episode. But also nice development for Chloe as well. Okay, what we got next? We got episode 64. Okay, so episode 64 takes place in the Hoenn region, and in this episode, Ash and Go get told that basically this place in Hoenn is losing all its water, and it turns out the place is actually won by Hoge's father. Hoge, remember being the guy from episode 7 in the Flute Cup. And they basically they also meet today, so they reunite with Hoge, and they meet his father, who is pretty angry and thinking Absol's caused this. And it's funny at the end of the episode, they basically go and look for Absol, because they believe Absol hasn't done anything. And basically, there were some snowstorms and basically in this episode, a volcano is basically warning of a volcano eruption. And they basically have to stop this fucking erupting, and basically Absol gets hit by this massive load of steam and knocks it backwards. However, Go throw the Pokeball, catches Absol, and then after that, Go, but that turned Absol out and wants to bring it easy. No, Absol decides to stay with Go. So it's a very, very similar situation with the Suicune episode, but I don't think it was too bad, honestly. Yeah. Oh, so guys, now we're on to the Iris return. Okay, so let's talk about the Iris return. So the Iris return. So in this episode, Ash gets a letter. Gets a letter from an old friend, which ends up to be Iris, who basically challenges Ash to a World Coronation Series battle, and basically the episode starts with them. They head to Unova, and in the episode, Go finds kill the elemental monkeys, Pansage and Panpour, and then basically he thinks there's a Pokemon up in the tree. He throws the Pokemon up there, but it's not a Pokemon, it's actually Iris. And basically he knocks Iris out of the tree, and Iris is a little bit mad, but it was basically the exact same thing that happened in Unova when Ash first met Iris. It's the exact same thing happened. And basically, Ash heads over to the gym where he meets Gym Leader Drayden, who is still the gym leader. And basically, as they head inside, it turns out Iris has become the Unova champion. So she's now the champion. And we see a lot of old Pokemon like Emolga, which we bonded with Pikachu, and also she also meets Ash's Dragonite for the first time, and she thinks it's such a cutie. And basically, it's a 2v2 match. Starts with Dragonite versus Dragonite. Iris' Dragonite is, as we know, strong, and it overpowers Ash's Dragonite. So to the point where Ash needs to recall, and he brings down Dracovish, and Dracovish just grabs the Fish's Rend and knocks it out with Ice Fang. Like that, it was fast. It was very fast. And then after that, Iris's Haxorus comes out. Her Axew has fully evolved all the way to Haxorus. And Dracovish gets dispatched pretty fast by a Dragon Pulse. After that, goes on to 1v1 Dragonite versus Haxorus. A Dragonite, despite Dragon Dagger and Dragon Claw, it manages. Haxorus hits it with outrage. Dragonite was a bit angry, but however, what I was just saying, Iris reached out to it and basically said, "This is just have fun with this battle." And then after that, during this event, he uses Hurricane, and it goes into the roof, and basically it learns Draco Meteor, and it able to defeat Iris' Haxorus with Draco Meteor, winning Ash the battle. But honestly, I loved this episode because it brought back an old companion who we have not seen in such a long time, but also gave us a good battle as well at the same time. So yeah, this episode can go. So yeah, I give the episode a 9 out of 10 personally. What's the next episode we're gonna rank now? Episode 66. This is a really sad episode because this is the first time Go actually fully releases a Pokemon, that being his Flabébé as well as Floette. So basically what happened in this episode is that basically Go is watching his Floette, and basically all of them except his white one evolve, and basically in the episode it loses its basically its flowers been damaged, and they have to go and find a new one, and they have to go to the Kalos region to find it. And basically during the event of the episode, the stuff happens in its forest, and at the end of the episode, it's because of what's happening, Go has to release Floette into the wild, and it's actually very sad. It's very sad to see Go loses Floette. I thought it was really touching. Yeah, I thought it was a really touching episode of Journeys. So overall, I thought this was a brilliant. I loved this episode for Go because it gave Go like the chance to feel what it feels like to release a Pokemon. So yeah, that could go up to there. Okay, well now we got, oh, Pikachu is sus. That's what everyone told the episode. Pikachu is sus, and I know why as well. So basically, in this episode, well, Vermilion City, electricity is basically being stolen, and basically they go through the sewage labs to look at all the electric types, and one of the sketches they think looks like Pikachu, so they actually arrest Pikachu. Yes, arrest it, and they're going to interrogate by this guy, and later in the episode, it's not happening again while Pikachu's over at the police station. So they go and investigate, and they release Pikachu off, and it finds out, but it was actually Team Rocket doing it at Morpeko. They were stealing electricity, so basically Morpeko would stop eating all of their food, and so basically after that happens, they have to Team Rocket gets stopped as well, and yeah, we also in the episode Ash and Go turning to police officers for the episode was really funny and also cute. But yeah, overall this was a really funny episode, and all the titles just made there are like Pikachu is sus, like it was funny. This is a really funny episode. Okay. Nah, guys, nah. I don't even talk about this one. This one is a stacked episode. This is a stacked episode. There's so much. Well, I might just say what's in the episode when I get once I fully rank it up to 10 out of 10. So, in turn, this episode is a 10 out of 10 for a few reasons. So, first of all, in this episode, we are introduced to the concept of Project Mew, which is cool, and it's basically a group of chasers basically trying to get Mew, and they're currently recruiting. So, Go wasn't sure about joining at first, but throughout the events of the episode, he changed his mind at the end and then joins, and this is because Ash's old rival, Gary motherfucking Oak, is in Project Mew. Yes, Gary Oak is partakes in Project Mew, and it's trying to kind of taunt Sky, but him and Ash are good friends now, which was really awesome to see. And also in this episode, we have to see Ash reunite with his old Pokémon. Every single one, well, not all of them, but we saw that Charizard, Bulbasaur, Squirtle, all of his characters from other than Greninja and Gudra. But yeah, it was awesome to see all these other Pokemon. But it wasn't just that. Infernape has wandered off from the lab because they want to look for a bigger challenge, and later in the episode basically, Moltres shows up, and so does Infernape, and Ash uses Infernape against Moltres, and well, yeah, well, they kind of gets wrecked. Gary's last voice puts in some good work against it, almost defeats it, but it gets overwhelmed, and basically, Go can't do much with Cinderace, and at the end of the episode, we have Pink Ash uses Thunderbolt, and Gary makes that Electivire and uses Thunder, but that is a knock a feather off, which was Gary's objective. He had to go get a Moltres feather. Yeah, overall, this was an incredible episode. I loved how they brought so much old stuff back for this episode. Okay, now on to the next episode, which is the Errands episode. This was, I'm not gonna lie, this was a pretty boring episode. Not really much happened. Basically, Eevee and Grookey kept having arguments, and basically in this episode, Chloe and Go agrees to make them run errands together, and not really much happened. It's just them just running around to watch the episode. As you go, obviously we saw now like one like Surfetched and Gengar, and there was a scene where Go puts on Ash's clothes and kind of tends to be Ash. It was pretty funny, but yeah, not really much came out of this episode, and yeah. This is for me a pretty low episode. Okay, normal Pecco, so where Team Rocket catches normal Pecco. This episode actually made me happy because Team Rocket at this point had not caught a Pokemon, which was completely ridiculous that they never caught something. And yeah, end of the episode. James stated bonds with Morpeko, and as James catches Morpeko quickly, extremely happy because I actually really wanted them to get Morpeko. But yeah, overall, this episode, I know I've said lots about it. I just think it is a nice episode overall. So yeah, this can go up to this can be a 5 out of 10. Yeah, why not? Okay. The first big Project Meme episode for Go, and basically, in his challenge is that he has to go find this Alolan Ninetales that's gone off in the mountains in Sinnoh, and they to give it to them so they can bring it back to the Alola region. So yeah, this was a really fun episode because basically, we all thought this was going to be the Isle of Ark. We all thought this was going to be the Crown Tundra, but it wasn't. But I don't mind because basically in this episode, we actually got Go. We actually learned more that Go knows a lot of time answers. Because we've got, for example, Ash says, he says to Ash, what is super effective against ice? And then Ash says steel types. So Go brings out Scizor and uses steel type attack, which was awesome. That Go is asking Ash for advice, because obviously Ash is an experienced trainer at this point. And I love how in the episode we have Go ends up bonding with the Tails, because at the start of the episode it wasn't really like confident and didn't really like to talk much. But yeah, and also in this episode, we saw Urshifu's debut in this episode, and Urshifu's power was shown to a lot of power. So the guy, his name is Tsurugi. I don't remember what his new dub name is. Lady Tsurugi has to fight a Regice that has attacked, and Urshifu just sends it flying with one wicked blow, and it was awesome to see Urshifu's debut like that. So yeah, this episode for me is a really nice one for them to Go. And we also saw Gary in this episode as well. We actually saw Gary return. So honestly, I'm gonna put this episode at I actually really like this episode, so this can get an 8 out of 10 for me. Okay, so now we got the Getting Lost episode, where they get lost for 20 minutes underground in Unova. This was really, not gonna lie when I say that, this was really boring. Well, there was a funny moment where we had Meowth just simping over Chloe, and then basically imagining him and Chloe eating a freaking red interest. It was funny. That was the funny part of the episode. And he also called back to Meowsy, which we know is going to be appearing in episode 95. So yeah, pretty excited to see that, not gonna lie. But yeah, overall, this was a really, kind of a little bit of a dull episode, to be fair. So yeah, that can get a 3 out of 10. The next episode is episode 73. So basically, in this episode, basically, a Phalanx has arrived at the lab. Well, basically, so let's go down to the lab, and basically, they have to go out. They go outside and look for some Pokemon, and they find a Phalanx. But turn out the leader of the Phalanx has gone missing. So at this time, has to go and look for this named Phalanx member, while basically Pikachu fills in for the Phalanx, and it's really funny because they're just trying to follow Pikachu around, and basically they have to keep switching around the Pokemon, but every single time they keep trying to switch, basically, Pikachu has to go back in front because no one's going to follow. And then basically in the episode they find the phalanx, and also this Ice Cube or SQ that's been running around the entire episode finally arrives, and they kind of have a mini brawl, but it doesn't really last long. But in the end, at the end of the episode, where they could have phalanx bonding with Ash and Go so much, Go catches the phalanx, and SQ, well, no one catches it. I thought Go was going to personally catch both of them, but hey. But overall, I thought this was a really, really fun episode. So yeah, this for me can go up to a... Okay, how do I rate this? Because we have a two-part now. We have a two-part, two Sinnoh-part. So basically, I can't remember all the events in these episodes. But yeah, basically in this episode, the key thing is that Dawn comes back, and also in the first part, Chloe goes on holiday to Sinnoh, and yeah, and she meets Dawn. So I thought their interactions were really, really funny. And yeah, and basically the episode, and actually Go has to go to Sinnoh because basically they started having nightmares in Kanto, and basically this thing caused by the Pokemon Darkrai. So they have to go to the Sinnoh region to go and find they have to go and find Cresselia. So I think the first part for me, I like it more than the second part, personally. I think this is the first part better than the second part of this. So I think this was... I actually really like this because it was the return of Dawn. Someone we've been waiting to see for a little while. So yeah, the first part can go to an 8 out of 10. Well, the second part only goes to 7 because basically in this episode... Dawn and Ash reunite, but it's a little bit, not gonna lie, it's a little bit plain how they react, like how Ash and Dawn reunited, but I thought it was still pretty good. But yeah, of course, they brought back Team Rocket again, instead of using someone like another evil team. And it just for me felt too similar to like the Necrozma from Sun and Moon. So yeah, now we've got the next two episodes. These are kind of parts as well. First part, they see Ash goes to the Alola region and he gets recognised as the Alola champion, and Go's reaction is crazy. And Ash is like, I didn't tell you because I want to stay humble and not like tell everyone, which I thought was really, really cool. And in this episode, basically the boys are trying to learn to execute Z moves and they can't quite do it right, so Ash has to teach them how to execute these Z moves, and in the end they learn to. And we also learn more of Lucario's aura abilities as well in this episode, and I just love this episode because we finally got the recognition of the Alola champion. It was something for a very long time. I was waiting a long time to mention to this, and it was really, really epic when they did mention it. Yeah, this can go to here, but probably one of the best, if not the best fight of Journey so far. Ash versus Volkner. This is gonna go all the way to 10 out of 10. The episode doesn't really need much of a summary up because most of the episode is just the battle, which I thought was awesome. They sent the entire episode with the battle. You know, guys, I'll talk about the battle quick. So basically, in the battle, I saw the battle. Ash and Volkner are talking before the battle happened, and basically Volkner notices Ash is leaving, and he mentions that he had an exclusive Z moves that having him and Pikachu can he'd obviously be in 10 million volt Thunderbolt. And basically, Volkner's really interested in seeing how Ash is going to utilize that in that battle. So basically, the battle begins, and it starts with Luxray versus Lucario. They're really quick. Lucario kind of gets overwhelmed. Wagner sets up electric terrain and uses rising voltage, which is boosted power on electric terrain. And after this happens, Ash does a switch and goes into Gengar. Gengar starts kind of low-key wrecking Luxray, manages to get it with a Psychic and then hit it with a Nightshade. And it was so bad, problematic that Roxas had to switch into Rotom Fan. Rotom Fan, Gengar had a battle. And basically, it landed a Thunder Wave on Gengar. And then used Hex, which was double power. It's a ghost move, and unfortunately Gengar went down again. But hey, then after Pikachu came out, and this is a really smart swap. So basically, Ash trapped him with Electro Web, and basically he's gonna use Thunderbolt, but Wagner does a tactical switch and goes into Electivire. And because Electivire's Motor Drive, its speed just got boosted even more. And it became really problematic for Pikachu as Ash and Pikachu could not hit it. So basically they switched into Lucario. Lucario and Electivire had a pretty nice fight. And then after that though, after it lands a Thunder Punch through on basically Lucario's guarding, and he lands a Thunder Punch, paralyzes Lucario. And he switches back in the Rotom, goes for Hex, double power, but Lucario isn't down. Lucario charges up a reversal and knocks out his Rotom. Now to turn 2. Then now, Rocket brings out Luxray, and basically Ash is saying like, I've gotta finish this quick, and basically, Wagner sets up the electric terrain, and after that, Lucario rushes in. Wagner uses Rising Voltage, both attacks collide at the same time, knocking each other out. And then now, it's on to 1v1, Pikachu versus Electivire. And I know the Z-move part, which is coming now, is very controversial, but I didn't care. I knew they were going to do something like it. And basically, Pikachu and Ash execute the 10 million volt Thunderbolt Z-move, and hit straight through Motor Drive, and it's so much power that Electivire cannot absorb it, and in the end, Ash and Pikachu win the battle and pushing up Ash's rank. And at the end of the episode, we find out that Cynthia is in the Masters 8, which was awesome to hear. We were all speculating about when they were going to mention about Cynthia. So yeah. Overall, I thought this was an incredible episode, and I just loved how they foreshadowed some of Ash's future matches. Alright, so what's the next episode we're going to rank now? We're going to rank, episode 78. One where Go gets Inteleon. I'm going to have to be honest, the Inteleon evolution was underwhelming for me. And a lot of people, because basically, Drizzle had done nothing the entire time, and then it comes back out and it evolves. Like, it had no development as a Drizzle, and it just evolves. That is an issue I have with how they've been treating the Gen 8 starters. So like the only Gen 8 starter that actually had development of the 3 is Scorbunny. He actually had it Cinderace had it the entire time. Someone got it in the Drizzle, but I didn't get anything from Drizzle to Inteleon. So for me, this was actually really underwhelming, and they should have just waited. They should have just waited just a little bit longer, and then after that, after they gave me Inteleon, they should have started doing grid development, but they didn't do anything. Oh, so then we have the episode where Chloe meets Espeon and Umbreon. This was an interesting episode. Basically in this episode there was a Chloe double gang, and basically it's exactly like Chloe, and then she basically owned an Espeon, and then basically this mysterious boy attacked where they were, and this boy had an Umbreon, and they basically had to battle this boy, and yeah, he managed to take him down, and he promised to stop doing attacks. But yeah, there weren't not really much happening. But I've got to give it points for, you know, Chloe development. I think honestly, all the episodes are really nice. Alright, so we got Project Mew next episode 80, but it has to get a golden scale from a Volcarona. I really like this episode because it focused on the first shiny in the anime, first shiny focused episode. And well, in this episode, well, yeah, they basically have to go and get a golden scale from a Volcarona. And I thought this was really cool, but in this episode there are a bunch of hunters. They have to capture Ash and Go, and they're basically trying to steal these Larvesta eggs. And yeah, they Ash and Go end up stopping them, and yeah, I thought this was a pretty, I thought this was a pretty awesome episode. Because it gave Go some good battles, but I also liked the hunters in this episode because they actually felt pretty menacing, to be fair, in this episode. So yeah. Right, what's the next episode? What was this? This was bad. This was really bad. Basically, in this episode, this guy is obsessed with blue Pokemon is having a fight with another guy obsessed with blue Pokemon, and it's just weird. It's just a weird episode. It just didn't feel right. And this is also an episode where Go was first shiny, but it didn't feel cool. I don't know. I'm gonna give it 1 only because of Go getting his shiny. If he didn't get a shiny, then yeah, this would be one of the worst episode of journeys. It's so boring. Alright, now we've got episode 82, which I actually really enjoyed this episode. This was a really nice filler. So basically, in this episode, Ash and Go got these invitations to go to a tournament with Raihan and Leon. So, and immediately Ash thought it would be a battling competition, so of course they went. No, it wasn't a battling competition, it was a cake baking competition, which I thought was really nice. And basically, the goal was that they had to make the best cakes, and of course, Jimmy the Opal came back. And I thought she was funny in this episode. Leon and Raihan also were really solid inclusions. Like Raihan tried to run off, and then Opal just stopped him. It was really funny how she did it as well. And I thought it was really cool to see Leon and Ash interacting more stuff. And then about Ash wins, and he fights Opal, and Ash, this was weird. The battle against Opal was really weird. So basically, Ash got some really good hits on his Iron Tail, on Alchemy, over and over on Iron Tail. And basically, JG Max, right, Pikachu swallowed its attack and then turned absolutely massive with his Gigantamax. But turns out, Pikachu got bloated because of all the cake it ate, and the battle had to be stopped. And it was, people didn't like that, but it was hilarious. This is one of my favorite fillers like ever. Like, it was so fun. It was so fun, and it was funny. Alright, now this episode as well. I actually really like this one. So basically, the region the Johto region has gone dark because this girl who was assessed as unknown was basically wanted it to be nighttime because her partner Pokemon Cleffa died and joined up in the stars. So basically, she wouldn't always want it to be night. And during this episode, we get the reintroduction of Cynthia, and basically Cynthia, Ash, and go and investigate what's going on. And after Ash and Go basically say to her, well, it can't stay dark forever. She gets a little bit upset and angry, so basically she unleashes the unknown. Ash goes to attack the unknown Pikachu, and then the unknowns come out the shadow, and it turns into a shadow Pikachu, and it has the same moves, everything Pikachu. Then after Pikachu can't really handle it, Go brings in Cinderace, and then they reform, and then turn into a Cinderace. They have a battle. Then after that, after they go the road, Cynthia sends out Garchomp, and then they turn into Cynthia's Garchomp as well. And even after this, Cynthia is able to take down all 3 of the illusions, and the girl accepts that it can't stay dark, and then it goes back to daytime. So I thought it was a really sweet episode, and I really liked the battles with the shadow. I thought it was a pretty sick idea. Okay, these next 3 are some of the biggest episodes. Mega Lucario and the Ash and Bee 3rd battle. First of all, this episode, the Lucario getting Mega Evolution, even though not really much happened other than Lucario getting Mega Evolution, it's just something breaking. This is something I always dreamed of actually happening in the anime. And because of this happening, like, honestly, this was incredible. We finally saw Ash get Mega Evolution after we waited over 8 years for it. And I'm really glad it was with Lucario. So basically, Ash wanted to basically utilise Mega Evolution in the World Championships. So we went to Karina. And after Karina had defeated a gym challenger with her Mega Lucario, basically, we go to the top of the Tower Mastery, and Karina gives Ash a Mega Glove, which I thought makes a lot more sense, because obviously Ash used to wear gloves. And basically, they just had to go to this place called Mega Island to go find a Lucario Knight. And throughout the episode, Ash and Lucario get split off from each other. However, due to the aura connection, they use their auras to find each other, which I thought was fucking awesome. Then after that, we got an Ash. Then after we got Ash and Lucario versus Mega Alakazam. Well, it's random. We thought a random guy, but in the end, it actually was just Gherkin, which I thought was really cool. And yeah, basically, Ash and Lucario was successful in getting the Mega Stone. And then to the end of the episode, Ash gets a World Coronation notification, and it's from B. Ash versus B3 is happening, and Ash is going to utilize Mega Evolution against B. Okay, so now, episode 6. How do I rank this? Because these are the last like big battles of Journey. So how do we rank this? The first part, I think the people do not like part 2 of the battle, but I actually love the second part. So honestly, part 1, I'll go over both the parts together because it just go into each other. So I'll just go over both parts together. So episode 85, aka part 1. For me, part 1 is 8 out of 10, and part 2 will be... So, overall, I give part 1 8 out of 10, and part 2 9 out of 10. So now, let's go over the battle. So, it was basically starts with Ash meeting back up with B in Speyere Stadium. They have a little chat, and obviously, she's really impressed that Ash had to roll his Lucario the whole way up. So yeah. And the battle basically begins the next day. The battle will begin with Pikachu versus Graplocked. Pikachu gets a nice early attack on Graplocked with Electro Web. However, Graplocked is able to get his tentacles out, hitting Pikachu with close combat. After this happens, Ash decides to switch. And then it comes down to the rematch of Graplocked versus Lucario. But this time, the bit different. So, Lucario just double team and Gradlock does liquidation the double team. However, as Lucario, if it just want to come up from behind with Aura Sphere, but B notices this and calls for detect, and Gradlock dodges and she switches into Hawlucha. Hawlucha, let's look at Ash rushes in with Force Palm, but she's able to catch Ash off guard with a high jump kick. And basically after this, Lucario jumps into the air with Hawlucha and starts by basically brawling with it, and then basically after that, B calls for Sky Attack, Ash calls for Force Palm, and as he's about to land, Hawlucha got into the air and managed to hit Lucario for some big damage. Then after that, B then switched into her Machamp, and Machamp started bullet punching Lucario to no end. It kept going bullet punch, bullet punch, bullet punch. And while it was holding it, it did a cross chop. Then after that, bullet punched again. At this point, Ash was basically eyeing his Mega Glove, about to Mega Roll, but Lucario didn't want to Mega Roll yet. And then after this, Ash saw this and he apologised. But at the same time, Leon arrives to the stadium and is watching the battle, and now Ash really wants to win because he doesn't want to lose in front of Leon, the person he wants to battle. So yeah, and the first part ends with Lucario and Machamp going back in for attacks. Now we're going into part 2, episode 86. So it continues off with reversal and strength. Ashley Lucario manages to land a big reversal hit on her Machamp. After it happens, after winning that exchange, Ash switches into Surfetched. Surfetched is able to land a big Fury Cutter on the champ, which causes B to switch into Hawlucha. Hawlucha and Surfetched have their rematch. Basically, it goes in for a flying press, and Surfetched shield is able to deflect it. And it managed to get a Night Slash off on it, and then after that, it threw its shield from Brutal Swing. And ultimately, it dodged, and after it got into the air, and basically used Sky Attack. But as it Sky Attacked, Surfetched tried to go in there with Night Slash, and unfortunately, Surfetched got knocked out. Which this is the reason that episode is not a 10 out of 10. It's because they didn't give Surfetched its win. It was supposed to get against Hawlucha. Better going into the next match, it was Pikachu versus Hawlucha. And basically after this, actually still having issues with the Hawlucha. So what he did instead, he got Pikachu to use Iron Tail on the ground, and then seeing them use Quick Attack to basically create like a shield. So basically as he came down with Sky Attack, it also damaged her Hawlucha, which I thought was a very smart play from Ash. Then after that, she goes back in, try to high jump kick it, but Pikachu manages to land a Thunderbolt, clean Thunderbolt, knocking out Hawlucha. Now Gradlock comes back out, and Ash tries to hit it with Quick Attack, which he managed to get the attack off, but B called for Octolock, and Pikachu gets trapped in Octolock. Ash tries the same strat for last time, but this time, because B knows what the strat is, she just asks Gradlock to pummel Pikachu with close combat, and Pikachu goes down. It's now a 2v1. Lucario now needs to fight Gradlock and Machamp pretty much simultaneously, and basically Ash is like, I need to finish this in one shot if I have a chance to take down Machamp, and that's what he does. He goes in there, always there, liquidation, and always there, you have to outpower it, knocking out Gradlock. Now the big match, Machamp versus Lucario. Ash iced his Mega Glove again, and this time Lucario accepts, and Ash and Lucario activate Mega Evolution for the first time. And at the same time, B Gigantamaxes her Machamp. It's now G-Max Machamp versus Mega Lucario. And this was a big ball. So it starts with Lucario going on Aura Sphere, and she goes to Max Steel Spike, and they are equally powered. Lucario tries to rush in there with Force Palm, but it gets hit by Max Strike from Machamp. Then after that, it jumps back in again. You try to use Force Palm, and this time Machamp just guards. And then basically on this turn, basically B uses G Max. I don't know the name of Machamp's G Max move. But yeah, basically she uses G Max is Machamp's move, and basically big attack, and Lucario is able to block it, and basically after that it rushes off its arm, and it hits it with an aura spin, knocking it down to the ground, and because it's been 3 turns of Gigantamax for B, Machamp reverts back to normal, and after that they go back into attacks, and this time Ash goes for Force Palm, she goes for Bullet Punch, but Force Palm turns into Steel Beam, and Steel Beam is able to outpower Machamp, finally knocking it out, and finally giving Ash the win over B. This was an incredible rivalry, and I love this final battle with them. Honestly, I love this final battle with Ash and B. Alright, so guys, I kind of lied when I said I've only one, I said I've not seen it. It's actually 2. This is one of them. I actually have not seen this episode. I know of it, I haven't seen it, so I can't really say much. So now, was episode 88. The one with Kingdra. So Ash, Goa needs to go and get a... I think he has to go and get a Kingdra. So basically, in this episode, they go to the home region, and they basically first dive into the ocean to go and look for Kingdra, but they can't really do it because they don't really have, the oxygen tanks. So basically they come back up, and Drake from the Elite Four in Hoenn shows up. Drake seems to remember Ash, which was really good for me to know, because that was very much the first piece of Hoenn continuity in Journeys. And basically Drake helps them. Drake goes into the water first. Ash can go help out. Then after that, Ash can go back under, and they find in this ravine, they find like this shipwreck, and they find in there a dragon scale, and they find a Seadra. But Go needs a Kingdra, not a Seadra. So basically, they go and continue looking. Literally, Sharpedo is trying to attack the Seadra, and as it gets close, Go's Pokeball is out at the time, and Go basically catches the Sharpedo on accident. So yeah, Go caught a Sharpedo. Then after that, they find a ravine, and in the ravine they find like a little cave, and Go gets sucked into the cave, and in that cave is where Kingdra is, and there's a pretty epic battle with Inteleon and Mantike versus Kingdra, and in the end they're able to catch the Kingdra and succeed in another Project Mew mission. So this episode for me, I really actually enjoyed this Project Mew episode. This was really enjoyable for me. Because some of these episodes I have actually reacted to. If you remember on my old channel, I actually did react to a couple of Journeys episodes. Don't know if reactions will ever come back because of how Showboat's been at this moment, but they probably will eventually. I'll just have to shorten some of the reactions down. This for me, yeah, this can go here, 7 out of 10 I think for me. Then, the final few episodes. The 2 Diamond and Pearl specials, and then the Gengar development. So, the Diamond and Pearl specials, I have to admit, these were... This first episode didn't really do much, but the second episode was good. The first episode just didn't really do much. Return of the Ark. We got the Return of Dawn, and we saw other Pokemon, but they didn't really go much into the Palkia and the Alga stuff until like the second episode. So they had Ash reunited Dawn again, but this one felt weaker than the first one. But the second episode I love. The second part I really love, because in the second part it's kind of like so you know how Marvel's doing the multiverse and their variants? It was like that, because basically in this episode there were variants of Go, Dawn, Chloe and Ash. And basically all the Pokemon kept reverting down to, but all eventually reverted to egg, and in the end, Arceus, well, a silhouette of Arceus shows up, and yeah. Now they just to calm them down, and all the eggs turn back to normal, and then all the alternate versions of our heroes, and there was also an alternate Team Rocket, which I loved in this as well, all go back to their respective universe. So, and honestly, I love this second part more than the first part, because the first part was a little bit slow, but the second part I really did like. So I think the second part for me was second part for me was an 8 out of 10. I really liked the second part. Okay, now the on to the two latest I've seen, 91 and 92. That's it, 91. Man, it was actually really funny. Ash got possessed by Spiritomb. Poor Go was taking the brunt of the damage. So this episode we went to Alistar. We finally saw Gengar do something since losing all its battles, and honestly, this was a really nice episode. So basically, I'll go with the plot of of 91 and 92. Since I have not seen 93, so I'll put 93 in here quick. I haven't seen 93 yet. So 91 and 92. In 91, basically, they've gone on a ghost train. They were going on a train to Stoneside to learn to G-Max Gengar. And basically, they go on this ghost train, and basically Ash knocks over the Spiritomb thing, and as he tries to pick it up, one of the souls of the Spiritomb kinda possesses Ash. Throughout the episode, Ash is just trying to go back to his normal self, but he can't because the Spiritomb soul is in his body, and it caused the Spiritomb to go crazy because Spiritomb is obviously missing a soul. And after they managed to knock Ash out, they give Sinistee gives Ash tea, gives this ghostly tea, and it causes the spirit to leave Ash. But however, it's got underneath the train, and because it's happening, Gengar can go through things. Gengar goes under there, and basically Gengar goes and retrieves the spirit out of. Daisy goes and retrieves the spirit out of the ground, and we have a battle with Spiritomb versus Absol and Gengar, and Gengar's able to get the soul back in, and then after that, the ghost train leaves, and turned out where they were going were actually the spot where Spiritomb was actually going to go. So yeah, I thought this was a really spooky episode, and I kind of loved it actually. Even though I was like shitting my pants, this was funny. This was a really funny and just a nice, scary episode. And we didn't actually have a scary in journeys up to this point, so this for me felt really nice for a scary episode. And now, the final episode, G-Max Gengar. Even though this was not really much was done, G-Max Gengar. It's just G-Max Gengar. Gengar finally got the development it deserved this entire time. Gengar finally got the development it deserved. And because of all of this, I've got to give it a high rate, because this was an incredible thing we finally saw in Journeys. But honestly, this for me, I don't think it was as good as Lucario getting Mega Evolution, but yeah, I think this is a 9 out of 10. And also they established more into Alistar this episode, and yeah, but yeah, basically episode Gengar, we see Ash show back up at 7, and we actually saw B there, which was really nice. And he was like, "Oh, you here for another battle?" And Ash was like, "No, I'm just here to try and Gigantamax my Gengar." And it was really cool to see them bring back B. for that. Even for a little bit, because it turns out there actually are two gyms in Stone Island, but Galaxy's gym is tiny, and then B has basically the massive stadium. But it was really interesting to see how Alistair and B actually interacted a little bit. And then after that, the other you go in there, Ash actually Dynamax band. However, Gengar can only regular Dynamax, and basically they have to go out, find the Max Mushrooms, and the entire they sent them look for Max Mushrooms. There was some really cool and scary parts, like where there were the Corsola on the ground, and they had to try and get around them without touching them, because they touched them, something bad would happen. And basically, after then of course Gober catches the Corsola, because they actually would touch one. And basically, and after that we had a shot. And then we had a little we had a really cute moment with Ash and this Dracloak. It was a really cute moment. And they basically had to move the Dracloak off the Max Mushroom. But after they got all the Max Mushroom they needed, they fed they made the Max soup. Gengar ate the soup. It's really funny why he just picks it up and just lobs it in his mouth. And basically after this happens, the next day they go back to Stow Inside, and Gengar starts to Gigantamax his Dynamax band again. And Gengar this time Gigantamaxes, and Ash is extremely happy. And yeah, that's where it ends up. And yeah, guys, finally, this is the longest thing I've ever done. But yeah, here is all the episodes ranked up to episode 93. I will do this again. Well, what will happen is that at the end of each month, well, not this month, but end of February, we'll come back and rank up the batch that we got between now and the end of February. Then after that, we will come back at the end of March and do it again. So at the end of each month, we will come back and keep this list updated. But anyway, yeah, guys, until the next video, I'll see you again very soon.